Hey everyone, this is Martin. This is part 14, I think, I've not checked, of the C++ OpenGL FPS devlog. So, little update, I put a maze together, and I'm recording in OBS Studio today, so it should be a little smoother. Let's see. Just clicking on play and then running and see what show you what I've got so far, and then I'll talk a little bit through the code and then the scene file that I've had to do and the approach that I'm taking so far to get it up and running. But hopefully this is smooth. It should be smoother than it was last time. But this is the initial test maze that I've got set up, that I've put in to the scene file. I've just set all these walls to only be a meter high at the moment, just so I can see the maze easily and I can, hop through and very easily, just see what's going on. I hit the exit door, then let's hop back in. You can notice on the right here though, this 491 is getting pretty beefy. 491 meg. Just for this, there's a lot going on there. I need to figure that out why it's so heavy. But this would be the entrance of the maze anyway, kind of what I'm thinking, or not the entrance, but this would be sort of the starting position here. I need to reduce the size of the kinematic collider on the player because you can see it's a little bit horrible, a little bit difficult to move in there. These are 2 units wide, these corridors, but you see you can navigate around. I do need this to be better frame rate independence because at the moment the player is moving a lot faster when the frame rate is low, and that's because the difference between frame time is larger and therefore it's moving the player forward faster rather than using a delta time. So you'd navigate around here. This is a complete maze, as in you can get to all parts of the maze. There's the exit door. Anyway, no need to run through all of those completely. But there's the level scene that I've created. So basically all of the geometry kind of defined there. What I did to do this was all hand coded, this isn't code really, it's JSON. But what I did is I just went online and I generated a maze from, I think it was this maze generator site here. And what I did was sort of mark out, as you can see here, like the measurements and the wall numbers. So all the measurements here, like in the X, and how big I want it to be. So I put like a spacing of 2 between, just because the character is it should be 1 unit wide, the character. I don't know why he's having trouble slipping through here, but anyway, a spacing of 2 units. So in my head 2 meters is usually how we go in game dev land when we say units and measurement, to give a little bit of space anyway. But then all I did was name or number each of the walls that I had to make. So in this case, wall 1 down here all the way up to 47. And within the scene file, each wall I did, this is very, very manual, is I set the position here. So, in this case, X10, Z6. So you can see wall 1 over here is in the X direction 10 units. And then it's 6 down, so that's the middle, and then just defining the length. So in this case, it is 2, 4, 6, 8 units on the Z. So again, I should have put that down here, 8 units on the Z, and then the collider matching that as well. And I've done that for every wall here. So this was kind of slow. It probably took me, I don't know, total time between 1 to 2 hours maybe to do all of this. This is not ideal, of course. I know, like, look at all of these walls here. It goes up to 47. There's no way that this can be like a long-term kind of plan for building out levels, but all I wanted to do in this case was just build a complete level so that I can see it in action. I can understand the problems, the slowdown, just the full gameplay, full gameplay loop from start to finish in terms of having a level. So so then what the next step, I suppose, is to put on a ceiling, is to increase the wall height, to have the player start position in correct position. Then I've probably got to look at some things like lighting, and then, or maybe even before that, not the lighting yet, but I've got to get the level generation up and running. So that is, I can't manually do it every single time, of course. This, it's not feasible. If I wanted to say 100 levels in this thing, like how would I do that? I can't manually type in 100 levels to that JSON. It's just not scalable at all. So I've got to figure out, okay, how am I going to get this randomly generated during runtime, or have the levels produced first on some kind of either JSON or some other kind of format, text file maybe, not sure yet, and then just have them read during runtime. Because this is going to be large, if these say like 100 by 100 meters wide, or 500 by 500, if I wanted some really complex mazes, then cool. I'll have to figure that out. So that's going to be some of the next steps. The interesting thing though, guys, as I was playing this, like I like hopping around like this. So I'm like, as I was hopping around on the walls here, I'm like, oh, this feels fun. I like it. I like it. So maybe I shouldn't do a maze game. Maybe I should have like sort of a run and jumping platformer thing, like a speed run thing, and you've got to hop on the platforms to get from A to B. I don't know. It's shiny penny syndrome. As in, like, you see something cool and new, and then you change your ideas, and then you don't get anything done. So, plus, if I was to do like a platform where, say, you had to jump from this platform to this platform over here to that platform, would I have to manually create each of those? Yes or no? Potentially. I don't know if I can randomly generate them, but I can absolutely randomly generate mazes. That's not a problem. There's algorithms out there to do that. So that's a consideration. The other consideration is number of players. Like, how many players would like a jump platformer where you have to run around, hopping from platform to platform to get to the end as fast as possible. Okay, that's usually quite a if you're talking about speedruns, that's usually like a more of a dedicated set of users who have a skill, who are good, with mouse and keyboard. Whereas a maze game is much more broad, as in the audience, like anybody can play it. Now, not everybody likes it, of course not. I might not like it very much. Now, I might like it more when I've got some randomly generated mazes that I actually enjoy, and I'm like, oh, I need to figure my way around here. So, to be seen, but even if I did make this maze game and then I did the jump platform game as a second game, maybe I don't know. I kind of got to figure that out. Maybe I'll just have to play around and see what that's like. I just like the feeling of jumping around super high and fast, like I'm some kind of Superman character here. This is really lagging though at the moment. I know there are a couple of speedrun games out there where it's like, hey, you get from A to B as fast as possible, and you can do a bunch of wall jumps and like a Spider-Man kind of web slinging thing. And I think one of the ones I saw was called like Blood Thief, which looks really interesting. I might have a play. I might put some platforms sort of out there in the world, and this is really starting to lag now. My goodness, out there in the world, and then I have to hop into here again. Yeah, I'll mull that in. I'll let that idea brew in my head and see what I think. The other thing is just this video as well. Like, I want to talk about the. This is very manual. This is very difficult. Not difficult, but it's time-consuming and very manual. Putting all these walls in here, and then these markers, these colored blocks that you can see, they're just markers so that I could mark out where the edges of the level were. So, this is like 10 minus 10 for this red block. This one is minus 10 for this magenta block over here. And the only reason I did that was to sort of mark out where the walls were supposed to end. The one in the middle there, these three blocks are the axis indicators. So X, Y, Z, RGB, and I had to manually put those in there within the level scene file as well. So, red being X, okay, so X is that direct, positive X is over there, positive Y, obviously is up. Z got me confused though, so Z is actually towards the player in this case. Usually in Unity, Z is pointing away, it's pointing forward, but in this case it's pointing back. So I don't know if that's the left or right-handed rule, I can't remember, but that's why I set up those three blocks there, was so it could indicate where it is. But again, the point is that Unity and Unreal and editors like Godot, whatever, they give us so much, like this, manually having to put in these blocks here to figure out where the heck I am. I can't just grab the camera and move it around now, or pause and fly around. Like, there's so much that you get out of an editor. It's just I suppose it makes me appreciate, like, you know, how much we get from that stuff, but it's also like interesting to figure it out myself and understand, or put the pieces together myself to make something, you know, usable. But you could see, like, okay, as this gets larger and larger, if it was manually to be placing these walls around, I'd need some kind of level editor. Like, there's no way I could do 100 levels like this, like manually within the. Well, I could do it manually within the scene file, but that'd be a very, very long process. Now I can just do it randomly, you know, randomly generated. So that's the other way that I probably will end up doing it. But yeah, I think that jumping thing, I might just increase the jump height the next one, have a play around, and maybe put some blocks here and there, and just have it as like a little bit of a playground, getting from A to B, and see how that feels. I do need to fix the frame rate though, because frame rate independence, because right now the player is moving super fast, and he really shouldn't be, and that's because the frame rate is low, and like I said, the delta frame is just really high. So anyway, that's the progress on it. I'll let you know what happens next. Guys, let me know what you think about the idea of you know, a jump platformer versus a maze game. I am curious. Get people's thoughts on that. I'm a terrible designer, so it's always good to kind of hear what other people think. The other thing is just to note as well, like, guys, the Udemy course that this is kind of based off. So originally putting this whole C++ engine thing together was based off of a Udemy course, and now I'm building on top of that. The Udemy course link is in the description. It is an affiliate link, but I do recommend it. It's a really good course, just understanding how a raw C++ OpenGL game engine is sort of the basics of put together. So highly recommend it. Anyway, yeah, any questions, comments, just pop them in the link. Pop them in the comments below, guys, and yeah, more coming next time. Catch you later. Bye.